Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just give it another couple of seconds to let everyone join from the waiting room. And while people are still joining, just a couple of housekeeping items. You can see everyone is on mute, so please go ahead and feel free to type any questions or comments into the chat. We will have a Q&A section designated at the end of the call, but if things come up throughout the call, we'll try to answer appropriately. And the recording will be available afterwards, as well as the slide deck. And one last thing, I do want to reference that there are different levels of familiarity on the call as far as the Institute program goes. I know some of you have signed up, you're already registered, ready to come. Some of you might have even been before. Some of you are not really knowledgeable much about it, so you're here, of course, to learn more. All of that being said, we want to make sure everyone is comfortable and that all questions are answered. If you feel at the end of the call that you still have questions or would like to learn more about anything, please feel free to reach out to us offline and we will get you the information that you need. And with that, I know a few people are still joining, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time so we can go ahead and get started. Again, good afternoon or good morning, depending upon where you're joining us from. My name is Karen McCrae. I am Senior Director of the Institute for Organization Management program at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And again, on behalf of the team, we appreciate you joining us. Institute for Organization Management, or Institute, or IOM for short, is a continuing education program for chambers of commerce and nonprofit association professionals. It takes place at 4 different college campuses throughout the year. It's a national program. And in addition to the education, which you'll learn more about shortly, one of the really unique elements of the Institute program is the networking opportunities, the connections that people make not only within their own individual class, but with the rest of their fellow attendees, as well as volunteers and faculty members from across the country, is really something that makes Institute unique and more than just your standard conference. We often hear from graduates and current attendees and volunteers that those connections that they are able to make, both of course on a professional level, but also on a personal level, really are something that is special and unique. And people, I just heard the other day, I think it was Kathy, our vice chair on the winter board, we had a call yesterday, and she said even though she graduated years ago, she still keeps in touch with some of her classmates. So building those relationships and building your network is often something that we want to make sure to highlight as an overview of the Institute program. Of course, we have the education component, which I'm actually going to turn it over to my colleague, Cece Francisco, to talk more about that and the faculty and the curriculum. So Cece, please take it away.
No. CC, I don't think we can hear you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just me. I don't think your mic is coming through.
No.
Oh, there you
can
are.
You hear me? Okay. Not sure.
Judd finally made it.
All right. Well, Judd, that's the reason. Thank you.
We were waiting for you, Judd.
The curriculum is based off of 2 bodies of knowledge. So CAE, the Certified Association Executive for Associations, and CCE, Certified Chamber Executive on the chamber side. In total, it is 96 hours of continuing nonprofit education across 4 sites or 4 years, depending on how you choose to complete the program. Just to know, IOM is a recognition. It's not an accredited certification. So there are no exams, but very engaging and interactive classes at the sites. Classes are taught on a variety of topics. So anything from HR, management, leadership, non-dues revenue, governance, membership, marketing, government affairs. So any topic that's relevant to a nonprofit, chamber, or association is taught at Institute. And we do note that not every class may be applicable at this time. So you might be in a different role where some classes that are central or core, as we'll get to, may not be relevant now, but we do encourage you to still tune in because it is important for learning all facets of how to run a nonprofit. In total, at each site, it is 9 classes per week, and that's divided into 2 types of classes, so core and elective. Of the 9 classes during the week, 6 of those are core classes, and that's 3-hour-long classes, and those are assigned based on the year in the program. So we do note that the years don't necessarily build on each other, so the first year doesn't mean that it's a beginner or intro class necessarily, and fourth year doesn't necessarily mean that it's more an advanced topic. They are just spread out across those 4 years or 4 sites on the different topics. And of the electives, you'll have 3 electives each week, and those are 2-hour long, and you can choose that. So it's a little choose your own adventure, giving you the opportunity to personalize your learning based off of what you're interested in, what your needs are, what your role is, and those electives are divided into 3 different groups. So that's the curriculum side. Of the faculty that are teaching the classes, we have around 130 total faculty, and these are subject matter experts, and it's a mix of industry practitioners, so people who are working in current associations and chambers, and consultants, experts, so lawyers, for example, teach our law classes, CPA, teach the finance classes, and then we also have U.S. Chamber and Foundation staff that teach as well. So faculty institute faculty comprise of different legends. So we have people that have had 20 plus years in the industry, and we constantly are bringing in new faculty members as well to the program. So on average, around 20% of the faculty at each site are new faculty across the 4 sites each calendar year, because it is important to us that we're staying relevant and current to industry trends, and that we recognize that we're in an ever-changing landscape in the industry. So the interview process for new faculty is led by staff and the curriculum committee, and we hold those annually. So we, again, are constantly bringing in new talent, and we do encourage you, if you know somebody who has really added value in your association, your chamber, and your community on these topics, to recommend them to Institute. We do hold annual interviews to bring in new talent as well. And the one thing, as Karen mentioned, one of the biggest draws and biggest feedback we hear from attendees is the peer-to-peer sharing of best practices. So really, you're building a network across these 4 sites attended or 4 years, and having people that are also in the same industry doing the same work that you're doing is an invaluable addition. So that's everything I have for curriculum and faculty. I will turn it over to my colleague Ivy to talk more about fees and enrollment incentives.
Yeah, thank you, Cece, for going over that and sharing all of that wonderful information. If we could just, there we go. There's the slide advance. I know from your registration question responses that a few of you are very interested in the price of this program and how much it costs. So let's just dive in. The first key part that you need to know is we do have 2 different rates for a U.S. Chamber member versus a non-member. So for our U.S. Chamber members, our early enrollment price is going to be $1,545, and for our non-members, it's going to be $1,995. So if you're unsure about your membership status, or you would like to think about, getting a membership, a lot of people do decide that this benefit is enough to spring for it, because Institute is one of the few membership benefits of being a U.S. Chamber member. So please reach out to Allie. Her email is right down there, or you can reach out directly to the IOM inbox, IOM@US Chamber, and I can get you connected with the right people. But those rates are for our early enrollment. Tuition does increase by $200 after that deadline. For winter, that's going to be November 15th. So if you hop off this call and you're thinking you got to register, yeah, save that $200, get registered soon as possible. But like I said, there are a couple other enrollment incentives that we offer that might be eligible for you, that you might be eligible for, depending on what you have going on. So our first one is exclusive to members of the U.S. Chamber. This is going to be our Premier Investor discount. So this is for members who are part of the Association Committee of 100 or our Chamber of Commerce Committee of 100. also Advantage and Elite members of the U.S. Chamber. So like I said, if you're confused maybe about your organization's enrollment in any of these programs, please reach out. But first year students of these organizations will receive $570 off of tuition, and returning students can receive $300. So every single time you enroll in Institute, you're eligible for this discount. We do offer discounts that are not for U.S. Chamber members. So our group pricing and our fast tracker discounts are two that are eligible for everybody, regardless of your membership status. Group pricing is pretty much what it sounds like. If you are enrolling in the Institute program and somebody else at your company says, oh my gosh, I'm enrolling in that program too, well, you can get a discount. So after the first student from an organization enrolls, each additional student can receive a discount on tuition of $300. So it doesn't matter if it's just you and one other person or you and 5 other people. Each additional student will receive that discount after the first one enrolls at regular price. And then our final discount is going to be for fast trackers. So this refers to people who attend more than one institute site in 1 year. So this isn't typically something that's going to happen at our earliest site this year, Tucson. So you won't receive that discount, but after you get a discount, after you enroll at regular enrollment price for one site in a calendar year, each additional site you attend in that same calendar year, you can receive $300 off. So the discounting process can be a little bit confusing, especially stacking those discounts together. So please reach out directly. I know this was a lot of numbers thrown at you. So please reach out to IOM at US Chamber and we can get you the best price and get you in the classroom. And with that, I am going to hand it over to my colleague Nathan to talk a little bit more about scholarships.
Yeah, let's help you pay for it is my usual way of doing this. So we have Institute scholarships available to members, non-members, and all years of the program. Not in each one of these scholarships is not exactly available to everyone, but let's go into the differences real quick. So we have the Institute National Scholarship. This is any participant that's attending Institute for the very first time may be eligible for a national scholarship. Each Institute site awards one scholarship worth $500 towards a first year tuition. And your organization must be a member of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And then we have the Regent Scholarship Program. So the Regent Scholarship Program provides financial assistance to both first year and returning participants. Each year, these are awarded in varying amounts to assist with tuition. Regent scholarships are made possible by donations from generous volunteers and participants to Institute-specific silent auctions and other on-site fundraising opportunities. All attendees are eligible for the Regent Scholarship, and we'll get into the timeline for that Regent Scholarship in a moment, and same thing for the National Scholarship. And then the final type of scholarship that we offer is a State Partner Scholarship. We partner with different state chamber of commerce executive associations, so CCEs, and societies of association executives, SAEs, to provide scholarships for incoming first-year students. They provide one $500 Institute scholarship to participating CCE and SAE organizations. And that is done through them. That's not directly done through us. So if you work for a CCE or an SAE, perhaps look at becoming a partner with us. If you know that you're already a partner with us, keep getting involved. You'll receive an email from me regarding all of that. If you want your state CCE or SAE to get involved, kind of nudge them a little bit if you have some influence there. And then the timeline for the scholarship. So that really applies to our Regent and National Scholarship. So right now our winter scholarship process is actually already closed. Those scholarships have already been awarded out. But for summer, our scholarship application opens generally in January. Will be open in January of 2025. And then it will close right just before registration for the summer sites open. So that's typically around end of February, early March, depending on timelines and things. We'll stay tuned is the other message for this. And we will send out a scholarship application. It will be sent over to us, and then we'll share it with each one of the sites for them to make their decisions and make deliberations on all of that. And then we will email you back with the discount code that you will use. Don't register until you receive that discount code. We do time it so that you get your discount code before registration opens, so you won't have to worry about that. But that is typically what happens. For the actual application, it usually requires it requires scholarship candidates to upload and electronically submit a resume and 2 letters of recommendation, plus some other demographic information that we ask, and just general contact information for everything. And then all of the documents must be submitted electronically. So please don't send the documents to us through the mail or through the IOM inbox unless there is something that goes technically wrong with your application. But other than that, I think that's all I have. So I'm going to pass it back to Karen to introduce our lovely sites.
Great. Thank you, Nathan. Yes. So we have 4 sites, as previously mentioned, that take place in a calendar year. We're gearing up, and you'll hear from our site chairs in just a moment, but we are gearing up for our first site of the year, Winter Institute, which does take place right after the new year. It's a great way to kick everything off, especially those coming from colder states. Join us in Tucson, Arizona on January 5th. But we always say there's no wrong way to institute. The curriculum, as Cece mentioned, is the same at each of the 4 sites. While each site does have their individual site culture and traditions, and just logistically speaking, they are different, the curriculum and the learning is the same. Some of the faculty, again, as previously mentioned, might teach at multiple sites, but the way that they interpret the information and the way that they present it, I should say, will differ, but what they're teaching from is exactly the same. We do have, again, a variety of options for those of you who would like to complete the program in less than 4 years. Ivy mentioned it earlier, the fast tracking discount code. Again, just to reiterate, that's for anyone who attends multiple sites in 1 calendar year. What staff recommends, if you were interested in doing this in the 2-year path, is really doing the winter program and then a summer site, and then again the winter and then a summer site. Again, there's no wrong way to do it. That is just what we have found to be digestible, that it's a lot of information coming at you. It's also time away from the office, and there's, of course, a big expense. So we do recommend the 2-year path, doing winter, summer, if that works for you. A lot of people choose to stay at the same site. You get to know your classmates, you get to form these, again, strong bonds, and you continue throughout the program with these same individuals. That being said, if you choose to go to a different site, you grow your network by that many more people. You get to meet individuals who you don't already know. Some people say logistically it makes the most sense for them to go to a site that is close to them. You know, you don't have to hop on an airplane, you can just drive. Great. However, some people choose to go far away because they already know a good network of people within their geographic area. All of this to say, it is completely up to you how you choose to institute, to use it as a verb. With that being said, I am going to turn it over to some of our volunteers to share a little bit more information about their specific sites. Starting off with winter, we have our Board of Regents Chair, Rudy Flores, IOM, and he is President and CEO of the Lincoln Square Ravenswood Chamber of Commerce in Illinois. So Rudy, please take it away.
Hey, good afternoon and good morning, depending on what part of the country you're at. Again, Rudy Flores. I actually started my journey with IOM when I first started in the Chamber of Commerce industry, and I started my Midwest in Madison for my first 2 years, and then finished the program my 3rd and 4th year at the winter site in Tucson. And so all the sites are great. You're going to get the exact same coursework, and mostly the instructors are similar in all the different sites, which is great. One of the things that's really unique about the winter site in Tucson, besides the weather in January, is that we're pulling from most of the country. So that was one of the things I really enjoyed about the winter site, is that it's not necessarily regional. So having representation from associations and chambers throughout the country really gave me a perspective of what other organizations are doing and trends in the industry. So I really enjoyed that networking opportunity. And like what's been said already is that one of the great things about this program is not just the coursework, but it's also just this relationship building. So if you decide to do the program within a 4-year track like I did, you traditionally stay with the same people throughout the entire time. And so you do build a great network of being able to ask questions when you're, having a challenge at work or looking for a new idea. You have people that understand the line of work that you do. I think that's really important. The other piece too is, like I said, I started IOM back when I first got into the industry. I didn't really understand how big of an industry we have here in the chamber and association world. And it really did help me know that I had something to grow into. So I started off as a membership director, and now I'm the president and CEO of my organization. So it really allowed me to realize, like, this can be a really great career path for me, as well as opportunities, not just in my own community, but across my state as well as throughout the country. So I'm happy to always answer any questions offline, but we have great people at all different sites. So you're going to hear from others right now. So I'll turn it back over to you, Karen.
Great. Thank you, Rudy. And for Midwest, we were originally supposed to be joined by our past chair, actually, Lisa Hermes from the McKinney Chamber in Texas, but unfortunately she got called away to a meeting. So I'm going to share a few things about the Midwest site. I'm totally putting them on the spot, but I did see that we are joined by a couple volunteers, Des Benioff and Lisa Weitzel. So raise your hand if you're interested in going off the mic and sharing some information. Again, totally putting you on the spot. No worries if not. But the Midwest site takes place at the University of Wisconsin, and University of Wisconsin-Madison, excuse me. And it is a beautiful time to go there. If you're somebody like me who does not love the cold, going there in June, the weather is typically gorgeous. That site is unique in that it has a lot of walkability. Everything, basically, if you are able, you can walk from campus to the hotel. Their Capitol, of course, is there. There's State Street. It has a lot of shops and restaurants. There are 2 lakes there, the Student Union. It's a lot of just a fun way to see the city and spend time with your class and go out and explore the city together. It does draw about 30% association maybe about 25% association professionals, as well as, of course, the remaining typically come from chambers of commerce. So it is a fun site as well. Again, Des or Lisa, anyone wanting to jump in, or if not, that is totally fine too. But with that, I see, Des, you put your camera on.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Good morning,
Thank
good
you.
afternoon, everybody. Madison is a fantastic site, very friendly, true to kind of our Midwestern roots here. And I feel like Madison is a great site for foodies. I'm a foodie. It has more than cheese curds, and it's just a really spectacular place to visit in the summer. So if anybody has any questions about the Midwest site, I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in the chat. Anybody's welcome to reach out, and we would love to welcome you there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And Lisa, I see you have your camera on as well. Thank you.
I don't think there's anything else that I can add other than that it is the capital of Wisconsin. So if you don't get a chance to, or you are one of those people who likes visiting other capital cities, that's another nice piece about being in Madison.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Des and Lisa, again, putting you on the spot. Appreciate you chiming in. And then over to our Southeast site, we are joined by our Board of Regents Chair, Judd Wilson, IOM, Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce and Community Development Foundation. Judd.
Thank you so much, Karen. Sorry, I'm in my car. I'm actually drove up to Corinth, Mississippi, the hometown of Moore Hallmark. If those of y'all that know Moore, I'm actually doing a keynote here today. So looking forward to that. But as Rudy mentioned and Des mentioned about their different sites as well, all of them are really a lot the same. So what I encourage you, either if you fast track or stay at one, is really get involved and try to take advantage of what everything has to offer, really outside of what you're doing in the classroom. I mean, all the different sites provide different opportunities, whether it's a bonus session or even tabletop lunches. And the good thing is, a couple of years ago, not every site did tabletop lunches, but another site did it and then shared it with us. So it's good how we all collaborate. We're all in this to try to get you through the process of getting your credentials. But let me tell you a little bit about Athens in the summer. If you're very familiar with the South, it's hot, but that's what it's all about. You're going to sweat. Nathan is a Georgia native, so he knows that well. But speaking of food, there's a lot of food there. But if you're familiar with Athens, growing up in the 70s and 80s and in high school at that time, REM, Indigo Girls, B-52s, it's a big music area, and there's a lot to do. Actually, AthFest, I believe is what it's called. It's a music and arts festival that happens really the weekend that you come in to go to Institutes. If you want to come in early, it's a great time to kind of check out the downtown area and do that. But my main point is just really get involved in what you do, and whatever site you're going to land at, I think you'll get so much out of it, and we got a great staff to kind of lead us through that.
Awesome. Thank you, Judd. And last but certainly not least, our Northeast site, we are joined by Board of Regents Chair Cheryl Kuhn, IOM, President and CEO of the Southern Chester County Chamber of Commerce. Cheryl.
Thank you, Karen. So welcome, everyone. This is very exciting. I enjoy being part of this info session very much. So a little bit of background about me. I graduated in 2009. I left the industry for just a couple of years and returned to the Southern Chester County Chamber in 2011. One of the first things that I did when I returned was to reconnect with Institute and with Karen. I was pleasantly surprised and thrilled that Karen was there. I've been volunteering and participating just about ever since. I can't think of anything better to do with my professional time. And I'll tell you why about that in just a minute. But Northeast Institute is just that. It's the summer site. You're located on the beautiful campus of Villanova University, one of the top universities in the nation. The Northeast has some of the largest and most exciting metropolitan cities in the nation, including Philadelphia, which you are a short train ride away from. And the train is either located on the Villanova campus along with another station that is located directly across the street from one of the local hotels where you might end up staying. You're also in the middle of what's called the Main Line, and the Main Line is a wealthy area in Chester County, Delaware County. But because of that, you're able to enjoy restaurants, multitude of restaurants and shops and walkable areas not too far, 5, 10, 15 minutes at the most from where you're staying. So a little bit about Institute and what I enjoy. One of the most things that I enjoy about it is the participation on the education side. There are courses that have to do with advocacy. There's media training. There's courses about membership, finance, legal issues, human resources, and so much more. You will not find a better opportunity to learn and grow in your profession and in your professional life, even if you decide that being part of your chamber or association may not be for you any longer, you are set for life in terms of nonprofit leadership and leadership in general with these courses. The faculty is simply amazing. I don't know how else to describe it. Cece did an excellent job explaining about it, but you do need to experience it to understand it and take advantage of it. And the educators that are there are available to you. They're there for you to take advantage of. So I would strongly suggest that you consider participating. And if you do, and you'd like to have a conversation with me offline, feel free to. I'll put my contact information in the chat, but I welcome meeting you if you decide to attend Northeast. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl and Rudy and Des and Lisa and Judd for sharing a little bit more insight on your individual sites. Appreciate it. Okay, and then moving on, we have a plethora of resources available for you. Obviously, the majority of what we're talking about during this session is our on-site Institute program. However, that being said, we do have resources and programming that is available throughout the rest of the year. You can participate and engage from the very comfort of your office or your couch at home. We have a variety of webinars. We have an Institute blog. We have an Institute podcast. All of those things are just ways for you to either get supplemental information, if you're already planning on coming or you're already a current attendee or graduate, or if you're a prospect, like most of you are on this call, just to get a taste of what Institute has to offer. Typically, each month we have a topic takeover in the months of which Institute does not take place, and we focus on a particular subject that is offered usually in the Institute curriculum. And everything is themed around that specific subject. So we just, non-dues revenue, we just had a webinar actually last week. So the recording of that is available on that webinar and resource page. And again, the blog, the podcast, and sometimes we have testimonials that we share on our social accounts as well. And those will all be themed to the specific topic for that month. A couple of other resources, the All You Need to Know flyer, and the content and curriculum really does a good job of just summarizing as they're called, all you need to know, and the curriculum. I know there were a couple of people who were interested in what information do I present to my board? How do I make my business case? So those documents and resources do a good job of summarizing. And then of course, taking all the information that our volunteers have shared. Thank you, those who have shared your emails. Most of our volunteers, without saying all of them and speaking on behalf of our 90+ volunteers, but most would be more than happy to speak with you to give you any guidance or tips or any information to help bring this to your board or to your chamber or association executive. So our volunteers are also a great resource for you. Of course, we're on the socials. CC does a fantastic job managing our social accounts. We are most active on Facebook as well as Instagram. LinkedIn is quickly becoming our continuous engaging, I should say, platform. We're getting a lot more traction on LinkedIn, but it's a great way to stay connected and to be aware of upcoming deadlines, dates, programming. Again, what I had just mentioned regarding the webinars and the podcast. So it's a great way to stay connected. We also have a monthly newsletter, which really provides a recap. We send it out at the end of the month, so you get to see everything compiled in one place that has taken all events or programming that has taken place over that past month. So definitely recommend you checking that out. That last link there is a direct link to our registration page. Of course, as of now, the only registration that is open is for winter, but it has general registration information. Nathan mentioned that registration for the 3 summer sites will likely open in late February or early March of 2025. So that's the page in which you will find a direct link to the appropriate site registration when comes the time, when you're ready. And I didn't even know Ivy did this. Wonderful. We have an extra slide that was thrown in here. Thank you. Register for Winter Institute. Here's all the information that you would need to know. So thank you. And with that, we can open it up to any questions. I saw there was one in the Q&A section about membership, and I know that's being handled offline. And Des and Cheryl, thank you for providing your email information. And yes, to confirm, this recording will be available. But are there any other questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat, or we can give you, raise your hand, we can give you mic capabilities as well, if you're interested. Again, I know it was a lot of information thrown at you. All of this can be found in various places on our website. Again, we'll have the slide deck available for you too. But if you think of anything, feel free to reach out directly to us, iom@uschamber.com, and we'll make sure to get back to you. I want to give a couple of seconds. I don't want to cut anyone off if there are questions.
If I may, while we're waiting for questions, if it would be helpful for any of you to have an offline virtual conversation, if you're seriously considering this, please reach out to any one of us that provided our information. We'd be happy to have an additional conversation, I would also, I can't speak for everyone else, but I would be happy to have a short conversation with anyone on your board chair, if it would be helpful for them to better understand this opportunity and the value that it presents.
Thank you, Cheryl. Great. All right, well, seeing nothing and hearing nothing, we will let you get back to your days. But thank you again for taking the time to join us. Thank you to all of our volunteers who shared some more insight and offered up your time to speak further with our attendees or potential attendees. Hopefully, all of you on this call will be able to join Institute at some point in time. So with that, thank you again, and we hope to see you on site in the future. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you.